All right, welcome back. Now let's talk about the seeming crisis now between the DSS, that's the Department of State Services, and the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. The fight against corruption in Nigeria took a new dimension last week when two of the country's top agencies of government clashed in Abuja in what many have described as a necessary show of power. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission last week stormed the Abuja residence of former Director General of the Department of State Services, Ita Ekpenyong, and the former National Intelligence Agency Director, Ayo Oke. Now, the EFCC, armed with both search and arrest warrants of Ita Ekpenyong, stormed his residence at number 46 Maman Nasir, Asokoro, Abuja, but were actually prevented from gaining entry into the property by stern-looking DSS operatives. Now, reports say the DSS quickly reinforced with about 30 masked men arriving the scene and, of course, preventing the arrests of the former director of the DSS. Now, while the EFCC is confident of the arrest warrant it is holding, the DSS operatives said they were acting on orders from above. A source from the EFCC was quoted as saying, quote, "I don't know whether it is within their brief to prevent a law enforcement agency from executing arrest or search warrant on a property belonging to retired staff of the agency. The suspect in question is not a serving officer of the DSS, which makes this whole action particularly reprehensible," end of quote. Now, operatives of the Nigeria, that's the National Intelligence Agency now, also blocked the EFCC from arresting a former DG of the agency, as we've said. That's Ayodele Oke, who was sacked last month by President Muhammadu Buhari after over the $43 million found in a residence at Ikoyi in Lagos. Now, the former NIA DG was said to have refused to submit himself to the EFCC for arrest because he had honored their previous invitation. As expected, Nigerians have been reacting to this development, which many consider a huge embarrassment to the federal government. Two legal luminaries, Professor Ishe Sage and Femi Falana, both senior advocate of Nigeria, condemned the action of the DSS. Now, Sage said, quote, "I think the EFCC should refer the matter to the president so that he can take action because the president is the overall boss. And if people are misbehaving like that, preventing agencies from doing their work, then there should be a penalty for misconduct. We all know that the law empowers the EFCC to investigate, arrest, and prosecute, and they have the right to interrogate and invite you, and if you refuse to come, they can arrest you. Anybody who refuses, that is engaging in lawlessness and is trying to turn the country into a chaotic state of lawlessness, which is certainly not good for the country, ought to be arrested," end of quote. Now, Falana, on his part, described the incident as unfortunate. He said the incident should not be treated as a mere interagency face-off, but a flagrant disregard for court orders. Let me quote him now. He says, "It is wrong to view what occurred as interagency face-off. Since warrants of arrest and search were validly issued by a magistrate court, the prevention of the arrest was a clash between impunity and rule of law. The security personnel who shielded the suspects from arrest committed the offense of obstruction of justice, punishable under the EFCC Act," end of quote. Now, the Senate has also said it will probe the clash between the two agencies. We'll just wait to find out what exactly the outcome of that probe now would be. But joining me to look at this further is a security consultant and, of course, a former officer, as a matter of fact, a former director of the Department of State Services, Dennis Amakri. Thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you.
Give me your take on this.
Well, you know, you've heard a whole bunch of things going on in the media right now. First of all, you have to understand that the arrest was not a legal one. And
even when there was a court order, I mean, warrants, arrest warrants were issued by the court.
Most likely, I could tell you, maybe the magistrate that gave this warrant did not know the full ramification of what, you know, he was giving them to go and do. You don't go and search a flag house, you know, because where...
We're talking about former these men are not serving. For instance, the director of the DSS is not serving, he's retired.
maybe one thing also Nigerians have to understand is that there are no retirements in the intelligence service. There are no retirements. You can retire police officers. You can retire military officers, not in the intelligence services, okay? Because they continue to be on active service. And this particular DG and the other DG of the NIA are both staying in Flagstaff houses, guarded by armed men. And then you now take a search warrant to go and search a house that is guarded by armed men.
So basically you're saying it's not as if these are their personal residences.
They are not their personal residences. You can find out. Both of them are on the same street. Those are Flagstaff houses. And you want to go and search them. Now you are sending junior officers of the EFCC and policemen to go and search.
No, are you saying it is not legal? It's just against the law.
Number one, it is the procedure was not followed. You don't go and search a Flagstaff house. Go and search the Flagstaff house of the military chief of army staff, if you can, or you have the liver to go and do that. You don't do that. You can search their private houses, but not the Flagstaff houses, okay? Because in those houses...
But apart from search, they were also going to effect an arrest.
Well, you can arrest anybody. Why don't you even try and do it on the road? But you went there because you want to show some kind of bragado. It is not done. It is not done. And remember, these houses are guarded by armed men. Now, when you take another set of armed men to go and confront those people, what exactly are you trying to play? If God did not intervene, I think there are going to be some kind of shootout. And what is it? We are already embarrassed as a nation.
Tell me what the procedure should have been.
The procedure is simple. If you feel that in a case you are investigating, a retired director is involved, you write to the SSS. The Director General did not act on his own. Anything that he does when he's in that office was done as the Director General of the SSS and in the best interest of the country. So if you feel that there is something, you write to them. The present Director General is going to answer you and tell you. If they refuse... So you're saying it is wrong to even question a former Director General. You don't question him, even if you found... You don't... there was no issue. We just can't tell because the EFCC says it has a very weighty evidence against... They should have told the whole world. They should have told the whole world. Let me tell you something. Do they need to tell the world? Oh, yeah, they have to. Let me tell you something. Yeah, go on. They are there to arrest him for nothing that he personally did. Well, do you understand? I don't think it lies to us now to begin to determine why they were there to arrest him. The fact is that there was a legal, lawfully issued warrant of arrest, yeah, and a search warrant as well. And what I'm asking is, are you in essence saying this man, for instance, cannot be arrested? Oh, like the EFCC chairman said, nobody is above the law. The law, yeah. And I hope he understands that statement, because he himself is not above the law. Of course, no doubt. Because you can go ahead and do an illegal arrest or do an illegal detention. Many cases that the EFCC have taken to court. I want to get something straight, sir. Yeah. What you are saying, your position is that the EFCC should not have gone to the Flagstaff, I don't know, house, Flagstaff house. Yeah. If these men were in their private residence, for instance, yes, if they were not there, it's okay that the EFCC could actually, and in essence, you're not saying the EFCC cannot arrest them, you know, if they have a legal arrest warrant, but basically going into that house was wrong. Going into that house was wrong, and then of course, if it is in their personal capacity, it's a different case. I told you. If it is an official capacity as the DG of the SSS, no, but of course, I mean, then you go, you ask me of the procedure. You go to the present DG and you tell them, this is what is happening. We want your man to come and answer some question for us. And if he says that, no, I'm not going to produce him, then you go to your boss, who is the president. They all report to the president. You don't go and start, you know, confronting armed men with armed men. You want to embarrass the whole country? Like I told you, it was God that saved us. Otherwise, right now, it will be all over the place where Nigerian security agencies are killing each other.
Suppose that some people are actually above the law, because if these if these men were not members of the secret service agencies of this country, if they were just politicians or ordinary people, we wouldn't be saying this.
No, if they were ordinary people, that's a different matter.
So
these people are repository of the secrets of this country. And I want to bring your attention to it. And many people in the public don't know this. When you start touching these organizations, you are exposing the underbelly of this country.
So if we find anything wrong
yes.
in the organization, and
yes.
let's just say the head of that organization had, you know, quote and unquote, been involved in something wrong or broken the law somehow.
You know where to go.
Nobody has the
That's
right
what.
to
No.
You have to go and seek permission from the
No.
president.
You have
even
to
when you have the courts
follow the procedure. Follow the procedure. EFCC cannot burst in here and start arresting you. They have to bring a search warrant, right?
Of course.
Because that's a procedure.
Of course. And
yeah,
case,
exactly.
They got the search
there
warrant.
is a procedure. Go and look at the National Intelligence Bill. It will tell you only the president can investigate those agencies. Remember the EFCC Ikoyi money? Do you remember the Ikoyi money? When the president was brought to the presence of the president, what did he do? He set up an investigating panel headed by the vice president. The EFCC was not there. What does that tell you? It is beyond the pay scale of the EFCC chairman to be in that, because that involves national security.
And in this case, we're talking about former serving officers of these security agencies, the National Intelligence Agency and, of course, the DSS.
Yes, of course.
They are not serving officers.
I've told you, these people don't retire. They don't retire. They could be, you know.
You don't think this whole thing is just about that ego fight between your agency and the EFCC?
No, let me give you an insight, because I think the listening public should know this. This is not an issue, because I can even see where respected legal luminaries were making comments, but they have not looked inside to see what is involved. This is a national security issue. And it is not a matter of confronting each other. There are procedures of doing whatever you want to do. But you don't use your personal, grievances to attack another security agencies, because you know what happened. The situation of the SSS writing a report to the Senate that was demanded, not that they wanted to, blackmail the EFCC chairman.
You don't think this is just a carryover of that fight?
It is part of it.
Because
no, it is part of it.
We can't deny the fact that the current DSS leadership appears not to see eye to eye with the current leadership.
And why should that happen in a country like this? Because if I remember, I have been in a situation where I have to relate with other security agencies, immigration, customs, EFCC, NDLA, and we have, some kind of synergy among us. If there's a problem, I can call up the next person when I was in service and tell them this is what is going on, and we put our heads together and solve the problem. But you don't do that, and because there was this face-off, then you go and do an illegality. Bring armed men to go and search a house that is armed and guarded.
How do you think this seeming face-off now can be resolved?
The president will resolve it. In fact, what has happened now, the Senate is going to pick it up.
What I know is that nobody should be above the law. And,
nobody is above the law.
If there's a court if there's a court order for anybody to be arrested,
it has to be properly executed.
Yeah, for anybody, and especially when that person does not enjoy any immunity at all, then that person should be arrested.
The order must be properly executed. Do you know that even ordinary search warrant or even arrest warrant, there are periods you cannot execute them? Ask any policeman, they will tell you. There are periods you cannot execute them. So they are limited, and there are things you're supposed to do. There are procedures.
Mr. Dennis Amakori, thank you very much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Just wait and see how all of this gets...
how it develops.
How it develops and how everything gets resolved. But it's certainly not good for the image of this country at all. And I think probably it's time the president took absolute leadership, you know, absolute control of things, because the general impression people are getting is that it's like the president is not in full control here. I mean, things have been happening. These two agencies report to him, so why then should we be having this? Well, that's it on the program. If you want to watch it again, it's simple. All you just need to do is go to our website. It's tv360nigeria.com. You'll find this program and lots more there. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/TV360Nigeria. Do subscribe now to get the latest videos and updates. You can also join us on Google+. That's at TV360Nigeria. Or like us on Facebook. The address is facebook.com/TV360online. You can follow us on Twitter as well. Our handle is at TV360Nigeria. We'll see you again next week. Thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.